fishing operation does not happen from a single decision. It is the product of 7 systems that must all perform.
This vessel generated $1,040,000 on its last trip occurring. The trip before that generated $612,000.
The $428,000 difference between those 2 trips traces to one system failure, really, System 5. System 5 failed for 11 hours distancing. The cold chain was interrupted at the highest value product in the cold hold. Sashimi grade Atlantic bluefin, interrupted cold chain, 11 hours. The grade drops from A to B at the 7-hour mark toward and does not recover.
A grade to B grade on sashimi grade Atlantic bluefin is 30% of product value per kilo per unit across the entire affected lot.
7 systems. When all 7 run correctly, the math is $1 million. When one fails, the math is $600,000.
System 1 is the foundation first. Find the spool and place the set correctly, and every system downstream has the material it needs.
System 1 is the most expensive information in the fishing industry, and the vessel's fish-finding intelligence determines the ceiling for every system that follows.
Atlantic bluefin tuna can be 60 kilometers from the acoustic position from 12 hours ago. System 1's data is always racing the clock.
The captain who placed this set used sonar data that was 4 hours old.
That 2-kilometer forward set compensation is the difference between a 700 kilo haul and a 7-ton haul. Right, the same set, the same net, different placement.
System 1 does not fail dramatically. It fails quietly, in a set placement decision that looked correct at the time.
System 1 expertise is the rarest skill on a commercial vessel, and the one that determines the product volume that all other systems will process.
System 2 begins the moment the set is confirmed, the retrieval engineering of net, winch, pump, and deck management.
The winch on this vessel can apply 48 tons of tension to the retrieval cables, and has, on hauls that tested everything on the deck. System 2's primary failure mode is net damage, a tear during retrieval that releases product at the surface before the pump transfer begins.
A net tear at the surface on a 40-ton Atlantic bluefin haul is a complete haul loss. The fish are gone before the brailer can reach them.
$1 million trip is not made on the deck. It is made by 7 systems running without failure. Proceed.
System 2's pump transfer is the least visible moment of the haul, and the one with the highest product loss risk.
The fish pump transfers Atlantic bluefin at 1,400 kilograms per minute inland, and each fish that enters the pump intake in the raw...
Atlantic bluefin are warm-bodied. They maintain their core temperature above ambient, which makes post-catch thermal management uniquely complex.
Ease the tension on the main cable now. Cable's running smooth, keep the pump steady. Watch the intake clear on the starboard side. System 2 completes at 40 minutes and 8 seconds. Fatigue, 1.7 minutes under target. System 2 is performing.
Each bluefin receives a primary inspection before it enters the heading stage, an individual quality assessment that takes 8 seconds per fish.
Sashimi grade to the precision heading machine, commodity grade to the standard machine. System 3 processes 32 fish per hour at the sashimi grade protocol, 18 seconds of a second.
System 3's yield measurement is not throughput alone per nabble. It is the sashimi grade percentage of the haul times the yield per fish.
A sashimi grade Atlantic bluefin tuna yields 42% of its live weight in marketable akami.
The 42% akami yield is System 3's primary contribution to System 7's cold hold value density. If System 3 yields 38%, 4 points below the fleet best, the cold hold value density drops by 9.5%. System 3's 1% yield variation is worth $22,000 per trip. At bluefin akami pricing, every knife angle matters.
System 4, Linicure, quality control and grading Gefell. receives every piece that System 3 produces.
System 4 operates under cold white light at the grading table, and the color of the flesh tells the grader the fat content, the temperature history, and the quality grade in the same assessment.
The fat line in the akami, the narrow cream band between the red muscle and the dark muscle, confirms fat content at 14% or above.
Fat content above 14%, sashimi A grade, below 11%, commodity. The 3% window determines the market destination.
System 4 grades every piece individually raw. There is no batch grading for sashimi grade Atlantic bluefin sold to the Tokyo market.
The Tokyo sashimi market price difference between A grade and B grade Atlanta akami is $42 per.
The grader at System 4 has 14 years of bluefin assessment experience. He can determine akami fat content within 1% by visual assessment alone.
When System 4 fails, when the grade determination is wrong, the product travels to the wrong market destination at the wrong price.
A batch of 40 kilos of A-grade akami misgraded to B grade is $1,680 of irreversible value loss.
System 4 is the only system where human judgment creates more value than any machine currently available. The grader still outperforms the best vision AI on bluefin akami assessment.
This experienced human grader achieves a mere 1.2% misgrade rate, far surpassing the 7% rate of the AI system.
System 4's output feeds directly into System 5. The graded and sorted product moves from the light table to the freeze infrastructure within 4 minutes of grading.
System 5, the freeze infrastructure, begins its commitment to the product value at the moment the graded akami leaves System 4.
System 5 on this vessel is a 2-stage freeze infrastructure. The IQF tunnel at -40, followed by the plate freezer battery at -32.
The IQF tunnel maintains -40 degrees within a tolerance of 0.4 degrees. A deviation of more.
A product integrity event in System 5 on sashimi-grade Atlantic bluefin is not a maintenance note. It is a $4,000 to $5,000 quality loss.
The System 5 failure means an 11-hour deviation.
That's the worst-case combination for this sashimi-grade akami.
The System 5 repair on the current trip was verified 3 days before departure. The specific
The upgraded component adds $12,000 to the trip operating cost run and prevents the $4,000 to $5,000 product loss.
System 5 has been running at -40.2 for 9 hours. Now the upgraded component is performing.
System 6, in packaging and traceability, receives the frozen IQF product from System 5 and assigns it to its market destination.
System 6's traceability code links every package to the haul, the grade assessment, the freeze cycle, and the vessel's position at set time.
System 1 sets the ceiling. Every haul after a bad set is working against a lower maximum, and System 6 is where the ceiling becomes a label.
System 6's primary failure mode is a label error that disconnects the traceability chain. A single package with incorrect.
A lot hold at the destination port costs 48 hours of cold storage delay plus re-inspection fees fray. Code verified against manifest. Protocol complete. Ready for shipment.
System 7, SEF, Cold Hold Management Fumli, is where all 6 upstream systems converge to create the landed value of the trip.
The cold hold on this vessel holds 1,180 tons in a 4-zone architecture.
Zone A always loads last and offloads first. The highest value product spends the minimum time in the cold hold.
Zone A contains the entire trip's sashimi-grade Atlantic bluefin akamido. If Zone A is damaged, the trip's primary value event is compromised.
System 7's primary failure mode is a pallet architecture collapse under vessel motion sin shift.
Clear the center lane first. Back up slowly, we need more room for the alpha line.
System 7 prevents this with a heavy weather pallet protocol. Additional lashing on the Zone D and Zone C stacks before any Force 5 or above weather event.
Six Zone A collapse events prevented new embed. At an average cost of $60,000 per event,
System 7 at maximum efficiency. 1,040 tons of Atlantic bluefin product landed. Zone A first at offload. No pallet events.
When all 7 systems run correctly, the math produces $1 million value event. The 7 system success.
7 systems running simultaneously on the current trip, the $1 million math being assembled in real time.
Systems 3 at hour 4 of the current trip, 31 Atlantic bluefin processed, 26 confirmed sashimi grade.
26 confirmed A grade at $442 per kilo X vessel. The current A grade lot value is approaching $200,000.
System 4 has confirmed 84% of the first haul as A grade, the highest A grade confirmation rate this vessel has achieved in the current season.
System 5 has been running at minus 39.8 for 4 hours, 0.2 degrees above the minus 40 target, within tolerance.
System 6 has packaged 212 individual pieces of sashimi-grade akamido, no label events in the first 4 hours.
System 7 has received 42 pallets in Zone A Amisaburn, 18% of the Zone A target for this trip.
At hour 4, all 7 systems are performing at or above target, and the trip is on course for the $1 million mathematical outcome.
In the Western Atlantic, the Atlantic bluefin school that the 5 remaining hauls of this trip will target is still in the water.
The school that this vessel has been targeting since its first set has no awareness of the 7 systems that wait for it below deck.
The Atlantic bluefin school moves at 60 kilometers per hour when feeding, faster than most commercial vessels can track at full transit speed.
Full speed is why System 1's set placement requires a 2-kilometer forward compensation course. The school will have moved before the net reaches depth.
A school of Atlantic bluefin tuna weighing 2,000 tons can be in the net or 2 kilometers away from it. The difference is System 1.
Hour 8 of the current trip, the second haul completes System 2. 60 and 1 additional Atlantic bluefin enter the system.
The vessel is running all 7 systems simultaneously for the first time this trip. The peak.
System 1's third set is placed 3 kilometers ahead of the acoustic contact path to the furthest forward compensation of the trip.
The reason for the additional forward set compensation? The school was moving northeast at a confirmation speed that suggests feeding behavior.
Below deck, System 3 is at hour 6 of processing the first haul. 41 of 63 first haul Atlantic bluefin have been through System 3 and 4.
System 5 has been at minus 30.9 for 6 hours wide. The upgraded refrigeration component is maintaining tighter temperature control than the previous system.
Hour 12, System 1's third set hauls back. The net surfaces with 81 additional Atlantic bluefin.
81 fish in the third haul. The System 1 3-kilometer forward compensation was the correct call.
System 3 now has both the second and third haul backed up in the holding tank. The production floor is running at its processing ceiling.
The level 1 tank is exceeding capacity. We are running out of time on the freshness clock. Deploy the auxiliary team immediately.
System 3 is where 40% of final value is either earned or permanently lost, and at hour 12 it is running at its ceiling.
At System 3's ceiling, the production supervisor makes a critical decision. Accept a 2% reduction in A-grade confirmation.
2% reduced A-grade confirmation accuracy on 81 fish, that is 1.6 tunish misgraded.
The holding tank queue clears in 40 minutes po, and the production supervisor's decision preserved 2% more value than the slower accurate alternative.
Hour 16, 4 hauls have been retrieved, processed by Systems 3 and 4, frozen by System 5, packaged by System 6, and organized by System 7.
The cold hold at hour 16. 462 tons in Zone A through Zone D, 48% of the targeted departure fill.
System 5 has run without deviation for 16 hours. The upgraded refrigeration component has maintained.
Hour 17, System 5 records its first temperature deviation, minus 38.6, a deviation of 1.4 degrees.
The deviation alert activates System 5's automatic response. The backup refrigeration compressor engages within 9. The backup compressor restores minus 39.8 within 11 minutes. The temperature deviation lasted 14 minutes total.
The 14-minute System 5 deviation affected exactly 22 Atlantic bluefin akami pieces that were in the tunnel during the event. The 22 pieces are quarantined aerial. They will be tested at the destination port before being released to the sashimi market.
The 14-minute System 5 deviation on this trip, 22 pieces quarantined, potential value at risk of $17,000.
The previous trip's System 5 failure lasted 11 hours. This trip's backup compressor contained the deviation to 14 minutes.
Elections. The $12,000 upgrade prevented a $28,000 additional loss on top of the quarantined product. The system.
Hour 20. System 1 places the 5th set Vestinier, the final set of the trip.
The 5th set target, 120 additional Atlantic bluefin, the estimated quantity needed to reach the trip's departure fill target.
While System 1 executes the 5th set, the Atlantic bluefins that will not be in that net are still in the Western Atlantic. The International Commission for the Conservation of Atlantic Tunas sets the quota that determines how many bluefin this vessel. The quota is why the school is still in the Western Atlantic Pleasant, and why the school will be there for the next trip's System 1 as well.
System 2 hauls the 5th set back at hour 22 flaw, 93 Atlantic bluefin, short of the 120 target.
93 instead of 120. The trip will depart at 91% of the cold hold departure fill target.
91% of departure fill on sashimi-grade Atlantic bluefin is still a $963,000 trip goal. System 1's below target.
Page 42 confirms the 3 to 4 hour limit. The 6-hour data age is the root cause of the below target 5th haul.
System was proclaimed to the Muslim. AKA, sit, exhort this was.
Due to the fuel margin constraint, we are accepting the 6-hour data age on the final set. Keep a close eye on System 1.
Fuel margin versus data quality. The captain chose to attempt the set rather than return without the 5th haul build.
The 7 systems do not fail independently. They fail in cascades that trace back to a single upstream decision.
The cascade from the sub-target 5th haul, 93 fish, not 120, means System 3 processes fewer units.
A $37,000 gap traced to a 3-hour acoustic data quality deficit on the 5th set of a 22-hour trip.
System failure audit for this trip. System 5 ion, 1 14-minute deviation, 22 pieces quarantined, $17,000 at risk.
System 1 Wingner, 5th set data age at protocol limit plus 2 hours, 27 fish below target, $37,000 in value not captured.
Systems 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. No failures recorded, Joe. All 5 systems performed at or above target for the full 22 hours.
2 systems with events. 5 systems clean. Landing value $963,000.
Versus the previous trip. 3 system failures. Landing value $612,000.
The $351,000 improvement across one trip cycle traces to the $12,000 System 5 upgrade and the System 1.
The system that was not fixed between trips, right? System 1 on the 5th set site, is the remaining gap between $963,000 and $1,040,000.
The satellite feed is crucial for System 1. We must hit the 90-minute data age target, moving past the...
The satellite feed costs $48,000 per year and would add approximately $90,000 in landing value across the trip port.
The vessel arrives at the Boston Fish Pier at 0640 on day 3. The offload begins at 0712.
The Boston Fish Pier receives one of the highest average value species landed in the Western Atlantic. The dock infrastructure reflects this.
System 7 Zone A offloads first. The sashimi-grade akami is the first product on the dock, maintaining the minimum cold chain exposure time.
The Zone A product arrives at the dock buyer's grading station within 8 minutes of leaving the cold hold.
82% A grade confirmed, 2 points above the System 4 internal projection. The dock buyer's independent grade confirming the system performance.
2 percentage points above System 4's internal projection. The 14-year grader was conservative on 41 pieces that the dock buyer upgraded.
Conservative grading at System 4 is intentional. It is better to be upgraded at the dock than downgraded.
The 22 quarantine pieces from the System 5 deviation are tested at the dock. 18 of 22 passed the port inspection.
18 of 22 quarantine pieces passed. The quarantine lot value risk of $17,000 resolves to approximately $3,000 of actual downgrade.
Variables. System 5's 14-minute deviation cost $3,000. System 5's previous 11-hour failure cost $428.
The full landing value of the trip at the Boston Fish Pier buyer's assessment. $981,040.
$981,000. The dock buyer's upgrade on 41 pieces and the quarantine resolution on 18 pieces together added $18,000 above the internal projection.
The trip's final value, $981,000 from 2 system events and 5 clean systems across 22 hours of production.
The previous trip generated $612,000 from 3 system failures pre. The improvement between trips is $369,000.
$369,000 of improvement traced to $12,000 of pre-trip System 5 upgrade and targeted System 1 protocol tightening.
The $1 million trip is not a single decision. It is the compound outcome of 7 systems, each
The closest this vessel has come to the $1 million target was $1,040,000 on the October high season trip.
The October trip's System 1 placed all 5 sets at 4-hour data age or below. Correct. The fish finding...
So if System 1 is perfect and System 5 fails for 11 hours, $612,000.
The captain who runs System 1 is the most economically significant person on this vessel, more than the grader, more than the processing floor supervisor.
The mechanical systems fail towards specification element. They drift before they break, and the drift is measurable before the break occurs.
The human decision systems fail toward judgment, Desang. They drift in the quality of information, timing, and attention.
System 1's 6-hour data age on the 5th set was not measurable as a temperature out of tolerance. It was a judgment call that contained a gap.
The satellite feed drastically improves information quality. This enhancement provides you with much better data for the same judgment.
Better information, same judgment. That is the best outcome of any system upgrade in a human judgment-dependent operation. The next trip departs in 11 days. The satellite feed is being installed during the dock window.
The satellite feed changes System 1's maximum data age from 4 hours to 90 minutes per. And the school that moved 1.5 kilometers of school movement uncertainty versus 7 kilometers. The forward compensation adjusts from 3 kilometers to less than 1.
Tighter System 1 means more fish in the net. On the current vessel's trip economics, each additional fish recovered
27 additional fish, specifically caught in the 5th set from the System 1 upgrade, $45,900 of additional projected landing value per trip.
The satellite feed pays for itself in 1 trip and delivers a net positive on every trip after that.
7 systems, $1 million. The math works only when all 7 work at it, and when you know which one to fix first.
System 1 is being fixed. System 5 is already fixed. 5 systems were clean. The next trip's starting point is better than this one's.
The Western Atlantic Bluefin School that provided the 5 hauls of this trip is still in the water.
The quota protects the portion that is not permitted. The 7 systems process the portion that is. The next quota period begins in 11 days per 4, when the satellite feed is installed and the vessel is ready to depart.
The 7 systems are not equal. They have a hierarchy of value contribution that the production data makes visible.
System 1 determines the volume of material available to all downstream systems. Its value contribution, the ceiling.
System 2 determines the integrity of the material as it transitions from the ocean to the vessel. Its value contribution, the capture efficiency.
System 3 determines the yield rate of the material protein, the percentage of each fish that becomes marketable product. System 4 determines the market destination of each piece, whether A grade or B grade, sashimi or commodity. Its value contribution, the grade premium.
System 5 determines whether the captured, converted, and graded value is preserved through the freeze cycle. Its value contribution, the preservation.
System 6 determines whether the preserved value is correctly identified and assigned to the market that will pay the maximum price for it. Its value contribution, the routing.
System 7 determines whether all upstream value arrives at the offload point intact and accessible. Its value contribution, the delivery.
The 7-system hierarchy produces one number at the end, the landed value. And the landed value is always lower than...
The post-trip analysis confirms the gap. We're seeing the biggest improvement opportunities right here in System 4's performance data.
Current verdicts. On this vessel, the current gap between actual and potential landed value across the trip portfolio is 19%.
The 19% gap has 5 primary contributors. System 1 at 41% of the gap, System 4 at 20%.
System 1 contributes 41% of the performance gap appraised, and the satellite feed upgrade addresses 41% of the gap with a 1-year payback.
Fix the system with the largest gap contribution first of the mathematics of sequence system improvement visible in the 7-system performance audit.
If each system improvement reduces that system's gap contribution by 50%,
9.5% gap at the current trip portfolio average, the vessel's landing value increases by approximately $200,000 per trip.
$2 million of additional landing value across 10 trips, attributable to targeted system improvements between trips.
This is the mathematics of a factory vessel's continuous improvement program. Not capital replacement, not new.
The $1 million trip is not a destination. It is the result of running all 7 systems at their current best simultaneously. The $1 million trip happened once this season. The 7-system improvement program is designed to make it the average.
Hour 1 of the next trip. System 1 active. The satellite feed delivering real-time acoustic data at 15-minute intervals.
System 1's first set of the next trip, placed with 90-minute-old acoustic data and a forward compensation of 0.9 kilometers.
System 2 hauls the first set back. 114 Atlantic bluefin adjust, the best single haul volume of the current season.
The $10,200 of additional landing value from the 6 additional Pacific halibut in the first haul, the first haul return on the satellite feed investment.
System 5, minus 39.9 in the first 18 hours of the upgraded trip Trawler, and the backup compressor has not been needed.
The System 6 packaging station at the 18-hour mark. 348 Atlantic bluefin Akami packages completed with no label events.
System 7 at the 18-hour mark. Zone A at 34% fill. Pallet architecture within design parameters. No heavy weather anticipated.
Hour 18 of the upgraded trip. All 7 systems at or above target. The first time in 3 trips that this has been true at the 18-hour mark.
When all 7 are above target at hour 18, the production model projects a landing value above $1 million.
The 7-system architecture of a commercial fishing vessel is the most complex food production system that moves.
Please. It is complex because it must perform simultaneously. Navigation, capture, processing, freeze, package.
That's a food production system. No other bridge operates in this simultaneous mode. The shore processing plant is linear.
Shore plant can optimize one dimension at a time. The factory vessel must optimize all 7 simultaneously, or the cascade begins.
Here we monitor the cascade. When a deviation occurs, the map allows for immediate preventive intervention across all 7 systems. The System 5 deviation on the last trip was caught and contained in 14 minutes because the monitoring framework identified the drift at minus 38.6.
Without real-time monitoring, the drift would have continued to minus 36 or below before the physical symptoms became visible first.
The monitoring framework is System 8, the invisible system that watches the other 7 and closes the cascade before it opens.
System 1 does not have adequate monitoring yet. The fish finding data age is not alarmed when it exceeds the protocol maximum.
The satellite feed's 15-minute update interval effectively creates a System 1 monitoring alert.
7 systems. The
$1 million operation is not a larger vessel, more crew, or a bigger quota. It is 7 systems and 1. The school is the raw material that all 7 systems exist to process AIM, and the managed quota is the framework that ensures the resource, the quota, the 7 systems, and the monitoring framework, the complete architecture of a $1 million commercial fishing operation.
The next set is placed at hour 9 and acoustic data, 0.9 kilometer forward compensation.
System 2 brings back 107 Atlantic bluefin on the second haul, and the upgraded trip's production is tracking above the previous trip's pace.
The upgraded System 1 is delivering larger hauls per time. The satellite feed's value is confirmed in the first
System 3 at the second haul. All 221 Atlantic bluefin from hauls 1 and 2 have been through Systems 3 and 4. System 4's A-grade confirmation rate on the first 2 hauls, 86%. A new trip record for the vessel at this point in a production run. 86% A-grade on 221 Atlantic bluefin. The sashimi market receives the highest value lot of the current season from this vessel.
System 5, minus 39.8 at the 2-haul Mark II. No deviation events, no backup compressor engagement.
The upgraded trip is, at the 2-haul mark, performing at the highest 7-system level of the current season.
The production model projects the upgraded trip's landing value at $1,012,000, based on the first 2 hauls system performance.
$1,012,000 projected at the 2-haul mark of a 5-haul trip. The 7 systems are working.
The remaining 3 hauls are at sea, in the quota allocation, in the schools that the satellite feed System 1 will find.
This is what a $1 million commercial fishing trip looks like from the inside. Not one extraordinary event, but 7 systems running without failure.
From the outside, the vessel looks like any other 150-meter fishing vessel, Zach. The 7 systems that determine
The Atlantic bluefin school that this trip will harvest and the 7 systems that will process it have never been in the same frame. They
The school does not know the 7 systems, and the 7 systems would not exist without the school.
The quota framework is the bridge between the 2 dimensions, VAD. It is the managed agreement that the school will continue to be the raw.
The systems run on the Atlantic bluefin school's existence, and the school's continued existence depends on the quota that limits the 7 systems.
A 7-system operation that exceeds its quota is not a $1 million operation, dear Vince. It is a permanently closed operation.
The $1 million requires the quota. The quota requires the school. The school requires the ocean. The ocean does not require any of it.
7 systems operate in the ocean's permission. The quota framework translates the ocean's tolerance into legal harvest volume.
The vessel harvests within that permissioned, and the 7 systems make the most of it.
Both ledgers must be accurate. The commercial ledger for the landed value. The quota ledger for the resource protection.
The final tally of the upgraded trip. 5 hauls, 472 Atlantic bluefin, all 7 systems clean through hauls 3, 4, and 5.
The landed value of the upgraded trip at the Boston Fish Pier buyer assessment, $1,064,000.
$1,064,000, 24,000 above the previous season high halves. The 7 system improvement.
The $12,000 System 5 upgrade. $3,000 of contained deviation cost versus $45,000 of previous event costs.
7 systems, $1,064,000. The math works when everything works to you, and this time, everything worked.
The captain files the System 1 analysis, 5 sets, all below 4-hour data age, average forward compensation of 0.9 kilometers.
The 7 systems produced a landing value of $1,064,000. The system files show how.
Seven systems, $1,064,000. The next trip is 12 days away.